Summoning Salt. He's a YouTuber who does these beautiful documentaries. I'm sure everybody who watches us has seen them because they get like millions of hits. He just goes in depth and chronicles the story of how world record speedrunning has been achieved. You know, the Super Mario Brothers one is a really good one to start with if you wanted to start with one. Just like, how is it that this game, like, they keep shaving a second or not even a second, you know, these microseconds off of it. So he does a great job. And he ran into some controversy. He uploaded the Mega Man 2 version of this, and it featured like a few streamer, you know, because he'll cut to footage of the speedrunning streamers doing or saying whatever they're doing or saying. And there was like a few, like one of them was going like, fuck, 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 fuck. And I guess YouTube, what did they do? Did they demonetize it or did they take it down?
Yeah, they gave it a parental, they gave it like a parental rating or something. They made it a, whatever their mature content rating is, which means you get less subscribers and then the algorithm doesn't feed the video as much. So
yeah.
Whatever the content rating is.
And it's
called.
like, it's devastating for him because he spends, basically months to making these. It's like it's a big
upload. Documentary. It's, know, every one of these. And tons of research goes into them.
He was making the point of, there's a lot of lost time, like, because he appealed it the first time and then they said, yeah, you're right, we made a mistake, and they recovered the monetization or whatever, because he was also pointing out like AVGN swears every other minute and he seems to be fully monetized, and then so it would be bad enough to make the mistake for a period of time because you just lose it, like that's like the hottest time for the video, you know, and then but then they ended up like, I'm not sure if there is yet another update since then, but they ended up like striking it again in a kind of automated, unclear way. Yeah.
And then I think he re-uploaded it censored since then. So,
well, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. I'm a free speech guy. I'm a, you know, there should be a place on YouTube for this sort of content. You know, I'm as annoyed as the next guy by this kind of push towards like let's water down and dilute all content so that it's always ad friendly and stuff. But I will say
there would be ads for this specific kind of content too. You know, I don't know.
Right.
Maybe I'm naive.
Yeah, there's exactly. I'm sure that they do ad targeting based on the SEO or whatever. But I'll just say this: if you're going to spend months editing something, I personally would be like, look, the F-bombs that those streamers dropped are not worth, like, they don't really help tell the story anyway. It's really not, that's not part of the tapestry of the thing. Then
you can bleep them.
Just bleep them. Bleep them or cut it down or something.
Yeah.
I would censor it.
Yeah, I've definitely...
Just as a matter of prudence.
Yeah, I've definitely cut down on my F-bombs over the years and swears. My early stuff did, and YouTube didn't care at all at that time. But then as they started caring more, I was like, I should probably just cut them back because you spend so much time on these things and you just want people to see them. And that's that's just unfortunately, that's the quirk of the platform. If you want people to see your stuff, the algorithm favors stuff that's ad friendly for everybody. So you got to do it. You got to do it. And maybe some people like AVGN are grandfathered into some old way. I have no idea.
Yeah, it's possible. I think that, ideally the platform would develop a way, you know, kind of, because right now it's like, is it for kids or is it not for kids? You know, it's like a binary, and really what they're trying to figure out when they ask that question is it for kids? Or you know, in other words, like what we need to know for which ads we're going to play on this, because they have really strict guidelines about that now after they got their pantsuit off for all those, like that crazy, like Ukrainian AI animation with Elsa and Spider-Man having sex or whatever, like that. Yeah. They had to basically stomp that out and stop that because it really was like killing the platform. So they did that really, I think I'm actually really impressed that YouTube was able to like really just remove that from its platform, you know? So ideally there'd be some kind of gradients. There'd be like GPG, you know, whatever. So you could kind of figure like that way. I don't know, not everything needs to be PG. But just from my perspective, when I make a box mac or something, like, it's a comedy cooking show about macaroni and cheese, like it, and I'll drop in, some swearing sometimes when telling a story, or I'll be a little cheeky, but I always bleep it out, because I actually do know that families watch box mac together.
Yeah.
And I don't want to fuck that up on the family.
Yeah.
I'll be nasty over on Red Cow Arcade.
Yeah, this is the fun time. This is the after hours.
This is, you come down to Dad's bar.
Yeah.
You talk some shit about She-Hulk.
Come in here, son.
Come on, intelligentsia.
Intelligentsia.
Well, yeah. So my advice to summoning Salt is, look, I feel bad for what happened to his Mega Man 2 video, but I think he's hoping to, like, I don't know, like, change the platform of this one or something, or
yeah, he seemed. I think it was a weirdly naive. I thought, like, I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't want the platform to do that either, and I know it's a documentary, and I know, like, they're, yada yada, but it's the platform's what it is. It's got its quirks. You know
what I do think YouTube should focus on, in all seriousness? There's got to be a way with AI, maybe I'm being naive, to detect production value.
Yeah.
So, like, if you can, there's got to be some way to rate. Like, okay, somebody put some real editing effort into this, or somebody used, sophisticated cinematography, or something that would tell you, like, somebody didn't just shart this out, on their phone. And then, like, rank those up a little bit. So, really reward the high effort people, because you don't want to. The truth is like, the stuff that I make, the stuff you make, it's many, many, many hours before it goes, for the main channel, before it goes up. Some of them, it's just crazy. It's like, It's just insane. And these clips we do of the podcast, it's like nothing. And
yeah, it's nothing. Yeah,
you know what?
I have Dan making me a song for my next review.
And they do just as well. In fact, they do better because I can upload them more frequently. Yeah. And so, like, this channel outperforms the main channel where I put all this effort into, and frankly, it's much more critically acclaimed, than over here where we're too negative and we're virginal. So the point is that YouTube rewards low effort. It really does. It rewards video podcasts, in that sense. So
yeah, that's true.
They got to figure that out. They got to figure out a way to, when what's the guy's name, Action Button or something, like, reward the hell out of that kind of effort. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, well, he's got his audience, and
he's doing fine.
His latest 6-hour video has 500,000 views. So if people watched a portion of that, he's doing fine.
He figured it out. But for the next guy, is there, for the next Dylan the Night Owl?
Oh yeah, no, I watched his Captain S video. Really good.
Was it good?
Yeah. It's fun. It's fun to see that time period, because it was so formative for, obviously us and our channel, and
right.
Just these pioneers of going up there. There's some fun spunk to Captain S. It feels like they had a lot of fun making it, and then it stopped abruptly.
There's been this YouTube channel that gets a lot of hits, has a lot of subscribers, like, they're in the millions. Their name's Sunny V2. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
Have you seen this? Have you heard of this? It's a channel that does, I don't know, 10-minute micro documentaries on famous YouTube personalities. So, like, some of the ones that come to mind are, like, the downfall of H3H3. The kind of they profiled, like, Epic Mealtime after they stopped getting quite so many views. Like, what happened to like. That one I found really interesting, actually, because it's all about, like, here's these guys these friends who get together and make ridiculous meals, and it's really funny. And then it was like, but now you have to make 1 million of these. Like, the audience will never stop asking for more of them. And then the friends have fights over business, and Muscles Glasses thinks that he's a really big part of the show, and, like, you should really accommodate him monetarily. And, like, sometimes I think, like, YouTubers just don't have publicists generally, or they have to then go get a publicist, or, and the audience wants authenticity, but they also want like a high, turnaround volume. And, it's like, it pushes you from not famous to famous awful fast.
Yeah. A lot of people can't handle it.
We don't have that problem.
We don't have that problem.
We don't have that problem so much, but like, nevertheless, I would say the biggest problem that I face with YouTube, is that the audience shows up because of something you did, something that the algorithm rewarded. So we've made lots of videos, but like most people showed up for Boxmac. We've made lots of videos, but most people showed up for Cinemaster commentary. And so whatever they showed up for is what they demand.
This is all you talk about?
And then of course the people who show up later are like, this is an awful lot of James Rolfe talk. But the people, and even like if they really loved like your first video on that thing or your second video on that thing, they keep wanting like that initial hit. There was like some kind of a hit, it's like, I can relate to it with like Plinkett, you're like, I want that drug again, that way I felt the first time I saw Plinkett,
Yeah. Well, they smartly went to that review show. My goodness. At first you were annoyed at first when it's like half on the back. Ugh, I don't want to see Jay. Gross. But then like, it's more sustainable and they paved the way for other shows, It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a good lesson. We've learned it lots of times, which is like, keep the shit moving, because the audience will demand the same thing over and over again. This is true before YouTube. Like this is true with television. It was true with movies, where like if you listen to the audience, they'll tell you like, give me the last one.
Yeah.
Over and over again. But you've got to innovate, and the real magic trick is innovate and bring them with you. That's very hard to do.
Yeah. I mean, I think we've done it because we make stuff that we want to make, ultimately, that we're passionate about. Because you don't want to be the passionless person making a She-Hulk.
Or an AVGN.
An AVGN.
I've always said like that with James, it reminds me very much of Kevin Smith. And I think like this is a skill that ports to YouTube very, very well, which is figure out a way to get the audience to be a fan of you and not of your show or not of your movie or whatever. If they follow you, then they're just excited to see you make new stuff. They're excited to see what you'll do next and stuff. Like I've often said, like with Kevin Smith, I think his fan base is more of a fan of him than they are even of his movies. They watch his movies because they're a fan of him, Right. That's kind of where you want to go. When we've gotten feedback of like, I would watch you guys review trash bags. I'd watch you review anything, that's like, oh, good. At least for that person, we're kind of where we want to be.
Yeah. We got a couple of those comments being like, I've got here from the Cinemasker talk, and I'm watching all of your stuff, and I love it. So. Yeah, those are the keepers. So thanks to everybody who has been along for that ride.
Subscribe to Red Cow Entertainment on Patreon for full episodes every other week.